All right, so on the program this morning, we're x-raying the impact of shipping costs on Nigeria's economy. Why are we doing that? We find that those who are in this sector, shippers, the freight forwarders, they are really having some harrowing times. And this morning, we want to dissect that and also look for solutions, how we can make it much better. And joining me on the phone line this morning is someone who is no stranger to the microphone, Mrs. Boma Ayomide Alabi, OON and SAN as well. She's the chairman of the Shipping Lines Association of Nigeria, and she's also the senior partner with Primera Africa Legal. And she's connected with us on the phone line. Madam, it's nice to have you. Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
Right. So the last time we had a conversation with you was sometime around March this year. And at that time, you gave a rather subdued assessment of the shipping sector, which is fraught with high costs. So between that time and now, have we experienced any significant changes? Any major changes yet?
Absolutely nothing in the right direction. We have experienced changes, but not in reducing costs. As a matter of fact, the costs have risen. You recall that prior to that last interview, Customs had said they were going to put a 4% surcharge on FOB freight coming in and out of Nigeria.
Right.
That was suspended after stakeholders pushback. But I'm afraid that's now in place. So that's additional cost to the freight forwarders, to the shippers, both importing and exporting, and ultimately to the Nigerian citizen. As far as I'm concerned, these are indirect tax situations where government is swooping in revenue regardless of the impact on the average Nigerian.
Okay, so let's
Something
put it
else. Yes.
Yeah, so let's put it in perspective now. So the free on board costs, which we are talking about from the customs, is already in the Customs Act of 2023. So it's not to say that for you guys who are in the industry, it's not strange to you.
You see, when it's in the Act of 2023, doesn't make it right. A lot of times when they're passing these new laws, do they really consult? Do they really take the views of the stakeholders? They go through a process which ticks boxes as opposed to really talking to stakeholders. I can assure you nobody invited us during the consultations for this act. I can assure you that most of those who are now being impacted were not at the table when this act was being passed. Now it is a law that is, we're all having to deal with. And this is what happened in our National Assembly. They work in silos. Nobody's looking at the overall impact on the average Nigerian.
All right.
And they're just adding to the cost of doing business. They're adding to the cost of living. Because whether we like it or not, the fact is shipping is a major part of the maritime sector of our economy.
Right.
Manufacturers in Nigeria, you're still going to be shipping in equipment in order to manufacture. Power, you have to ship in equipment. Agro business, for you to send your goods out there, you have to ship them out there. So whatever aspect of the economy, logistics is an integral part of it.
Right.
And so when you put these costs on logistics, you're indirectly taxing every citizen of Nigeria.
Right. We'll talk about the impact of that. We'll still talk about the impact of that on the economy. But Mrs. Alabi, let's look at, apart from the free on board, that's the 4% free on board charges, what other charges are shippers facing?
We talked about the increase in the Nigerian Ports Authority charges. Of course, NIMASA has a 3% freight levy, which they've always collected, and they collect that in US dollars. So that's also dollarizing the economy. We have literally every government agency that interfaces with the maritime sector has a huge right to collect revenue.
Right.
And therefore, it's just endless. And it's not just in shipping, it's across the board, in barging, in all of the services across the maritime logistics sector. Nigerian ports are some of the most expensive in the world. I keep saying it. And at the other end of the spectrum, some of the most inefficient in the world. So cost is more than, it's among the 10 highest. Efficiency is among the top 10 from the bottom.
Which is quite unfortunate.
Most unfortunate.
Right.
Most unfortunate.
But of course, you heard the
Yes.
Shipping Lines Association. So what is your view on all of this? I mean, what are the shipping lines? What are they saying about these multiple taxes that shippers are confronted with?
This is why I'm coming out here to speak, so that other stakeholders, the Nigerian citizens, the Nigerian public understand where the issues are. Prior to now, shipping lines have simply not said much, just do as you're told. Regulators have imposed levies, whatever, we pay it. But you know what? We're businesses. At the end of the day, ultimately, it is the consumer, the stakeholder who pays it.
Right.
And at this, the narrative has been, the shipping lines, these foreign shipping lines who are here making tons of money from the Nigerian economy. That's not the truth at all. That's just been the narrative. And I'm out here to say, please go and look at the facts for yourself. Data doesn't lie. You can see how high the cost of doing business is in Nigeria in comparison to other ports. And the high cost is not from the freight cost. It is from these levies and tariffs and other, will I call them fines or
right, that are imposed on the economy.
Yes. Why is Nigerian freight going to Cotonou? Is it Benin Republic that is responsible for all the huge turnover that they have? It isn't. It's freight coming to Nigeria, but the cost of doing business is cheaper there. And the Nigerian importers and exporters will take their business where it's cheaper for them.
Let's look at the impact.
That's why those ports are doing better than our ports here.
Right. Let's look at the impact of all of this on the average Nigerian citizen and the economy by implication. So what are the impact of these charges, Mrs. Alabi?
Well, the impact goes directly to you and I in everyday buying things, services and products to keep life going. That's the impact. If the cost of importation is higher, it means that the goods that eventually come to us in our markets will be more expensive. If the cost of my exporting my cashew nuts and so on is higher, and my zobo, my hibiscus, etc., it means that I'm less competitive in the international market and my returns are less. Do the sums. So it's impoverishing the Nigerian citizen. That's the truth of the matter.
Lagos Traffic Radio 96.1 FM. This morning, we're looking at the impact of shipping costs on the Nigerian economy and, of course, the kind of rippling effect it's having on us all. And talking to us this morning, I have someone who's been there for several years, who's been letting us know how things are panning out. Mrs. Boma Ayomide Alabi, SAN, and of course, she's the chairperson of the Shipping Lines Association of Nigeria. All right, so is there any kind of collaboration that you're having with other stakeholders? I mean, you represent the Shipping Lines Association. What about those who are licensed custom agents? What about the freight forwarders? Have you had any engagement with them on this?
Well, what we have done is to engage directly with the agencies to give them our feedback and to push back on some of these policies to say, this is the impact. Please look at the data. On a non-sentimental basis, data doesn't lie. Look at what's going on in Ghana, for instance.
Mm.
One terminal in Ghana, one company, not the entire terminal, one company has done the entire turnover of all the ports in Nigeria in 2024.
Wow.
That's not the entire Ghana. I'm saying one company in one terminal in Tema. So what is responsible for that growth in that country and the stagnation in our own economy? Look at the data, and then let's work together to make it more efficient. We can increase productivity, efficiency, and in so doing, increase your revenue, rather than just effectively indirect taxing us to death. Don't kill the goose that's laying the golden egg.
So I'm curious, is it to say that those who are the helms of affairs, let's look at there's a ministry that supervises all of this, the Ministry of Marine and Blue Economy. Is it to say they're not aware of these high costs of shipping services?
I have engaged with the ministry. We have given them the information. They're fully aware of that. But, the unfortunate thing is, much as, yes, there's a ministry in charge, the reality is going back to these acts, like the Custom Act that you referred to earlier on. When these things are passing through the National Assembly, they do not take a look at, a holistic look at the laws that they're about to pass to ensure that they work harmoniously with other existing laws and so on.
Right.
Each one is effectively a master by itself. And therefore, when the Minister of Marine and Blue Economy tries to rein in some of these things, the customs will say, well, it's in our Customs Act. So you can't stop us from charging the 4% FOB levy or charge or whatever you want to call it. If the Minister of Blue Economy or even the central bank says to NIMASA, for instance, well, you shouldn't be charging these companies in US dollars because, they're local companies. Well, no, we have a freight levy in our act, and therefore we're entitled to charge in US dollars. Fine, they have to go to the secondary market or parallel market to buy the US dollars to give to us. We don't care. What does that mean? It means there's more pressure on the dollar demand and dollarization of your economy, which makes our naira weaker, means it's just not good for Nigeria. It's not good for the economy.
Or perhaps, maybe the global economic trends might be some of the reasons why these charges are coming up. I mean, we're looking at inflation, the exchange rates. Are all these ones affecting the shipping costs in Nigeria?
Global economic trends have a part to play, no doubt about it, because we're not island. We're not isolated from the global headwinds or, beneficial climate. That has a part to play, no question. But what really makes Nigeria so uncompetitive is the role of our regulators in making the cost higher than it is. I'll give you an example. Customs has rolled out a single window, what they call Biodogu. I'm sure you know about it, because so as we speak, Biodogu is not functional. There's the stories, there's been malware attack or whatever it is. Whatever it is, clearly from my perspective as industry watcher and stakeholder, you simply haven't done sufficient homework. And the impact on all of our shippers and freight forwarding is, the cost
is very, very
to
huge.
Business is huge. Every day they're not able to work efficiently because your Biodogu has failed.
That's right.
There's a cost attached to it. And that cost goes to the shippers and not to customs. All customs is doing is apologizing for the failure.
Right, and I know that even
at the end of the day.
Yeah, this week the Executive Secretary of the Nigerian Shippers Council was talking about how this can be resolved on time so that shippers don't face these delays demurrage and all of that. I mean,
every day, the cost reaches naira and kobo out of somebody's pocket.
Okay, but what would you say? I mean, those who are proponents of the Biodogu are saying, look, these are just teething problems and we need to just give the customs some time. What would you say to that, Ms. Alabi?
You see, what I'll say to that is that's typical of government agencies because they are not businesses. They don't think like businesses, and they need to put themselves in the shoes of the businesses that are suffering the losses of the experiment. That's what I think.
All right. I'm going to hold you on a bit here. We'll come back to talk about that. This is Maritime Today on your side mirror. And this morning, we're x-raying the impact of shipping costs on Nigeria's economy. And I've got a great shipper on the program this morning, Mrs. Boma Ayomide Alabi. She is a senior advocate of Nigeria, chairman, Shippers, that's Shipping Lines Association of Nigeria. We're going to take a short break right now. When we return, what will be the solutions for growth in the maritime sector as relates to the shipping industry and the shipping costs that we have? What will be a drastic change that will be required for us to get it right and make Nigerian shipping service much more competitive? These are many more we'll be answering. That will be after this break.
The Nigerian Shippers Council is now better poised with responsive systems in place to help you and other shippers get seamless, stress-free transition for your clients' goods from point A to B. Today at the Nigerian Shippers Council, timeliness, orderliness, transparency and efficiency is all we care about. Put your complaint through to our helpline 0818-888-8895. Visit us at number 4 Ayodele Shoyode Lane, Apapa, Lagos, or reach us on www.shipperscouncil.gov.ng.
Nigerian Shippers Council, we meet you at the point of your need.
Nigerian Shippers Council, we meet you at the port of your needs.
Lagos Traffic Radio 96.1 FM, still on Maritime Today, and we are x-raying the impact of shipping costs on the Nigerian economy. And Mrs. Boma Ayomide Alabi is taking us to the classroom this morning, letting us in on how things are panning out. Traffic-wise, it's very, very busy heading towards Yanawuru. If you're coming in from the Alakpere end, I understand the backlog has extended even towards the Secretariat here, so it's a very, very slow one at this time. Those of you navigating through that corridor, we have construction work ongoing at Ifako Ogudu. You might want to make use of alternatives. Probably Ikorodu Road will be better if you're heading towards the island. You might want to make use of Ikorodu Road to connect Funshaw Williams and Eko Bridge. From there, proceed to Akmongbon and continue your journey. All right, so Mr. Alabi, let's get back to the focus right now. But by the way, if you want to add your voice to the conversation, feel free. That'll be 09153877127. All right, so a whole lot has been said about the high costs and how it is affecting the Nigerian economy. In terms of solutions right now, I mean, if you were to speak with President Tinubu, what would you advise him to do for this sector to be much more competitive?
Well, I would say, Mr. President, firstly, thank you for listening finally to the industry, because nobody's listened before now. Then I would say reduce our costs, reduce the number of agencies who have access to the ports. There are at least over a dozen of them. That's not the norm. You don't need more than 3-4 agencies at the port. It slows things down. And then let's have a seamless process. Let's have them working together, not working in silos as they do. And that will help make your shipping and logistics around the maritime sector
much more competitive,
far more efficient, and therefore more competitive.
All right. Anyway,
and
so
when it becomes more competitive, guess what? More freight will come here. We have the new port at Lekki. That port should be transshipping to all of West Africa. It should be a hub The facilities are there. It is not being utilized to capacity right now because of the inefficiencies in our economy. Lome is thriving because of the efficiencies in their own economy.
Right.
And that is down to government. What business can do is provide infrastructure. But if government makes us inefficient by the way they regulate and govern the sector, then guess what? Trade goes elsewhere. Lome is benefiting, Benin Republic is benefiting, Ghana is benefiting at the expense of Nigeria.
Which is quite
Thank you,
unfortunate.
Mr. President. That's what I would say to the president.
All right, then 09153877127. Message here for you says, good morning. Why does it feel like shipping costs keep going up every year in Nigeria? And who is really responsible for that? Chinedu is sending this one in. Chinedu, thank you so much. Madam, so why do you think it appears going up every year?
Chinedu is exactly what I've been saying. It's going up because the costs that your regulatory agencies are adding to the cost of your shipping. And they're charging in dollars. Nigerian Ports Authority added 15% this year, or was it? No, last year, as a matter of fact.
Right.
Your NIMASA, your customs have added 4% to your freight on board. FOB coming and going.
Right.
So when they do that, guess who the cost passes on to? It is you. That's the point I'm making. That's what I'm saying. It's indirect taxation, and it's wrong.
All right.
Let's not listen to just the drama. As Davido said, cho no work. Look at the data.
Right.
Look at the data.
All right.
And you will see where the costs are coming from.
This one
from
says,
the shipping lines perspective, Chinedu, your export freight, we actually subsidize your freight because we want to see the export increase, because we don't want to take empty containers out of the country.
Right. All right. Another question here says, hello, madam. Please, is it true that Nigeria pays higher shipping charges than some of our neighboring countries? You didn't put your name, but I think that what she's been talking about all morning as well. Another question here says, good day, Mrs. Alabi. If shipping costs are killing small businesses, why has government not stepped in more seriously? Say yours, Bamidele from Ibafo. Okay, Bamidele, thank you so much. So, is there anything that the government can do as a kind of intervention?
Bamidele, the government is the problem. That's the message I'm sending to you this morning. The government is the problem. The shipping lines charge the same, more or less, for, depending on the length. Their charges are transparent for a container, the length of the journey, and so on and so forth. But when a vessel berths in, let's say, Pema, in Ghana, the cost of that vessel berthing in Ghana is, let's say, $20,000.
Right.
That same vessel berths in a port in Nigeria is $200,000.
Wow, that's huge.
And that's your government agencies. It's not the shipping lines. Let's just be clear about this. And I said the data doesn't lie.
All right.
So ultimately, where does it go to? It goes to you, Bamidele. It goes to you, Chinedu. And it's not about government interventions, but government stepping back a bit and not charging us so much. And even when they charge, please provide the services for which you're charging. We don't get those services.
All right, this one.
NASA collects 3% freight levy. They're supposed to keep us safe when the vessels are in Nigerian waters.
Right.
They do nothing about the safety of the vessels in Nigerian waters. We have stowaways jumping onto vessels leaving Nigeria all the time. That doesn't happen when vessels are leaving Ghana. All
right. Another question here says, I want to ask if shipping costs are one of the reasons why dollar demand in Nigeria is always so high. Ngozi, of course, she talked about that earlier on. If you have to collect some of these taxes in dollars, definitely dollar demand will become very, very high. But let's begin to round this all up right now. This is August, and we're experiencing this level of high costs for shipping services. Are you optimistic as we head towards the end of the year? Is there anything that might change the situation?
If government listens, yes. Let's hope that the stakeholders, the Chinedu, Bamidele, everyone who's a part of this, who's suffering from these high costs, reaches out and tells them to, hold them accountable. Then we will begin to see the charges drop. But it can't be the shipping lines advocating for this alone.
Any drastic
all stakeholders must, make their voices heard.
Right.
That's a fact.
And any drastic suggestions in terms of those of you who are on ground, those of you who are stakeholders? Do you think probably a call to action might be required? Probably a strike or something from the importers, exporters, the shipping lines? Will that work? Hello, madam. Can you hear me?
Is that question to me or to
yes,
the
to
other
you.
stakeholders?
Yes, to you. Do you think that will work? If all those who are stakeholders decide to down tools?
I don't advocate a strike because that's sort of cutting off your nose to spite your face. When we go on strike, it is the productive part of the economy that suffers. And with all due respect to those agencies, I don't count them as a productive part of the economy. Yes, they collect the revenue and they send it into government. But okay, today, for example, Lagos State and a few other states have declared
public holiday, right?
For public servants, 24 hours notice. It's if you're in business and you're in the productive sector, you wouldn't be doing that sort of thing with 24 hours, because you will know the cost implication of shutting down your plant or shutting down your shop or shutting down your office for a day at short notice.
Okay.
So no, I wouldn't advocate a strike, but I advocate active engagement until they come to the table and see reason.
All right, then. We'll leave it at that for now because of time constraints. Madam, it's always a thing of joy to have you connect with us. Thank you so much for linking up with us on the program this morning.
Thank you for having me.
Okay, then. So we've tried to x-ray the impact of shipping costs on the Nigerian economy. And we've done that using the viewpoint of Mrs. Boma Ayomide Alabi, Senior Advocate of Nigeria, and of course the Chairman of the Shipping Lines Association of Nigeria. We have to go. The program has been produced by Dayo Anthony. I say a big thank you to Rebecca Adamo, Assistant Director of Public Relations for the Nigerian Shippers Council. In the studios here, I say a big thank you to Okwayemi Shodunke and Remy Aluko. Both of them, they are of our social media unit, and our executive producer is Tayo Akonle. You can connect with the Shippers Council on all their platforms at NG Shippers. My name is Victor Oteri. Have a great day. Bye.